Hello, this video is for IXL Activity A1.C.3. It is titled Unit Rates, and its 3-character code is 8 Foxtrot Zulu. So in this one, they're asking us to find the unit rate. So first I want to cover some math vocabulary. All right. So ratio, we talked about ratios before. It compares two numbers in a set order. And there's 3 different ways that we could represent ratios. One of them is we could, like, say if there were 3 boys and 4 girls in a room. So we could say the ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 4. We could represent that as 3 to 4. We could also write that as 3:4. Or we could write that as a fraction, 3 to 4. Any of those 3 ways will work. That is a ratio. It compares two numbers in a set order because the order matters. Notice I said boys to girls, so we had to list the 3 boys before we got to the 4 girls. That's why the 3 comes before the 4 in each of these cases. So a ratio compares two numbers in a set order. Next, we're going to talk about a rate. A rate is a comparison of two quantities. Here we were comparing two numbers, but now we're comparing two quantities by division. And remember that every fraction is indeed a division problem. However, we're talking about quantities, and they're different quantities. If someone says, what's your rate of speed? You're like, oh, I was driving 70 miles per hour. So you were driving 70 miles, plural, per 1 hour. This would be a rate. It's the comparison of two values, and they have separate measurements of quantity. The 70 is being measured in miles, and the 1 is being measured in hours. You could also have an equivalent ratio where you went 140 miles in 2 hours. 2 hours. And that leads us to the next vocabulary word, proportion. Two ratios set equal to one another. For instance, that's 70, and we'll go just M for miles, 70 miles in 1 hour would be equal to 140 miles per 1 hour. And we would say that these are proportional to one another. This is a proportion. It's two ratios. Remember, ratio can be written as a fraction, and they are set equal to one another. And it's a true statement. 70 to 1 is equal to 140 to 2. So, oops, I wrote 1. So with that said, let's go ahead and try to solve this problem. We're going to do it using proportions, and those ratios that we set up, they're going to be written as rates. So we're given 32 orders in 2 days. So 32 orders, O for, let's do O for orders. That's not a 0. 32 orders in 2 days. And this is equal to, and we're going to keep, remember, order makes a difference. Here it was boys to girls. Now we're doing orders to days. So we have to keep the labels in the correct position. So if numerator was orders, then over here numerator is going to be orders. If denominator was days, then the denominator is over here on the right is going to be days. Denominator and days, both D words. Not quite a tongue twister, but enough to hold me up a little bit. So what's missing right here? We're missing the number of orders. In how many days? Well, per day. Notice it says it's plural. It's not X number of days. It's just 1 day. So we end up with 32 to 2 is equal to some number X to 1. Well, what do we do to get from 2 to 1? We divide by 2, right? So over here, we're going to divide this by 2 as well. 32 divided by 2 is going to be, what is that, 16? So it would be 16. So 32 orders in 2 days is equal to 16 orders in just, and I could say per day, or if you wanted to, in just 1 day. And that is the whole concept of unit rates. Over here, I have a unit rate right here. It is a number of something per just 1. The denominator is always going to be 1. It's always going to be something per day, something per box, something per bag, something per person. It's always going to be singular. So that means our denominator is always going to be 1. Notice how it doesn't say units rates. Units not plural. Unit is singular. So they're going to give us rates in which they are not singular, and we have to find out where how much it is for just one of those days, or one of those boxes, or one of those bags, or one of those persons, people. So, individual. There you go. So, with that said, that's how we're going to go ahead and do it. Now, so let's go ahead and move along. So, in this case, we have 10 minutes per 2 songs. S for songs. And we're going to set that equal to minutes in the numerator, songs in the denominator. So, we need to know per song. So this is going to be a 1, right? I know there's not a number here, but the number 1 is implied because song is singular. So this is what we don't know. So what do we do here? We divide it by 2. So let's go ahead and divide by 2 here. This is just like the previous activity to where we had to find the missing number in equivalent ratios, right? So we're going to divide by 2 because we divided the denominator by 2. And 10 divided by 2 equals 5. So 10 songs for 10 minutes for 2 songs is equal to 5 minutes per 1 song. Now you might be saying, well, wait a second. If we're going from this denominator here, whether it's 2, 20, 27, 193, no matter what this number is, we have to divide by that number to get to 1, right? Any number divided by itself is equal to 1. So, and if we're going to do the same to the numerator as we're doing to the denominator, technically, aren't we going to just go ahead and divide the numerator by the denominator? Because here, 10 divided by 2 is 5. That was my answer. Look back at the first one. 32 divided by 2 is 16. And indeed, that is the case. I'm going to do another one where I set it up as proportions, and we'll look at finding equal ratios. Then from there, we're just going to start dividing one by the other, and you'll see how that works out. If I can keep from hitting my microphone again. So 60 kilometers in 4 minutes is equal to how many kilometers in 1 minute? So 4 divided by 4 is 1. So let's divide the numerator by 4 as well. 60 divided by 4, let me see. Half of 60 is 30, half of 30 is 15. So that should be 15, right? So 15 kilometers is the answer. I could have just divided 60 by 4 and got 15. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So 18 houses on 3 blocks. Oh, I made a small b with 2 loops like a capital B, is equal to 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 houses per block. Do BLK for block. So it's 6 houses per block. 558 donuts per 62 boxes is equal to some number of donuts per box. So in this case, let's do 558 divided by 62. Oh, gee, I don't have those memorized. I'm wondering if I can actually do it. Nah, I'm trying to mental math that bad boy. 10 of them would be 620. And so I bet you it's 9. Let's try it. 558 divided by 62. Is it 9? 9 times 2 is 18. Carry the 1. 9 times 6 is 54, plus 1 is 55. Indeed, it is. The answer is 9 donuts per box. How did I do that? I realized that 62 times 10 would be 620. And I kind of figured that that's a little bit higher than 558. And I pretty much figured that there wasn't going to be like 9.6 donuts in a box. There's either 9 donuts in the box or 10 donuts in the box. So I was able to guess 9 and went ahead and checked it out, and it worked. Fred baked 49 cookies with 7 scoops of flour. With 11 scoops of flour, how many cookies can Fred bake? Solve using unit rates. All right, so we might have to do a little more work here. First, let's go ahead and figure 49 cookies per 7, and we'll use S for scoops. Now let's go ahead and get a unit rate for this. 49 divided by 7, and I think I'm going to go ahead and keep my fractions here because I'm going to have to use them later on. So let's just keep this as a fraction instead. So let's do cookies here and scoops here. So 49, that's for 1 scoop, right? Need a unit rate. So 49 divided by 7, well 7 times 7 is 49, so it's 7 cookies per 1 scoop. So now let's take that 7 cookies per 1 scoop. Let's set that equal to another fraction. So now we're creating a proportion. We used a unit rate. We got a unit rate over here. And our unit rate is 7 cookies per scoop. Now we're going to take this unit rate and we're going to set up a proportion and see if we can get our answer. Now notice that cookies is in the denominator and scoops is in the, cookies is the numerator, scoops is the denominator. Now let's see what they give us. With 11 scoops of flour, how many cookies can Fred bake? So we know scoops. We know this is 11, right? How many cookies? Well, notice they're asking for cookies, and sure enough, cookies is the number that we're missing. So to get from 1 to 11, what do? We multiply times 11. So let's multiply 7 times 11. And that's going to be 77. So we can make 77 cookies with 11 scoops of flour. Let's look at another one. Carla read a total of 36 books over 9 months. So right away you're thinking, okay, 36 books per 9 months. Let's go ahead and get a unit rate first. So go ahead, and 36 divided by 9 is 4. There I am. There's that 9 times 4, 36 thing I just have to think about. So, and this is books per 1 month. Now we're going to take that 4 books per 1 month unit rate. We're going to make a proportion. 2 ratios set equal to one another. And let's see what they give us. Oh, remember, books up here and months down here. After belonging to the book club for 21 months, they give us months. So 21. How many books? So how many books? That's the missing value. How many books will Carla have read in all? Solve using unit rates. And we are solving it using a unit rate. We had to find a unit rate first, and now we're using the unit rate to find the answer to the second part of the question. And notice books is the missing part. So 4 times some numbers, or 1 times some numbers, 21. Well, that's times 21, right? So let's go ahead and multiply 4 times 21. And let's undo that. There we go. 21. Okay, well, 4 20s is 80, and 4 1s is 4, so 80 plus 4 is 84. So therefore, the answer is 84. Up here, the 84 is what goes there. Elise, I guess? Elise, yeah. Elise's retirement party will cost $2,436 as she invites 87 guests. So that is dollars at the top, 2,436. And that is for 87 guests. We'll use G for guest. Let's create a unit rate. So for just one guest, and that's going to be 2487. And that one, I'm not going to mental math. So I'm going to grab my calculator here, and I'm going to type in 2436. Now I'm going to divide that by that denominator, 87. 87, the number of the greatest tight end ever. And no, I'm not talking about Gronkowski. Travis Kelce. So, my answer is 28. $28 per one guest. So let's take that $28 for one guest, and let's set that equal to another ratio in which we have dollars for the numerator and guest for the denominator. All right, what do they give us? What is the maximum number of guests there can be if Elsie can afford to spend a total of, so this is what they're giving us, 2716. 2,716 on her retirement party. Solve using unit rates, and guessed is what we don't know, right? And sure enough, that's the missing value down here. So now, what do we do? 28 times some number equals this 2,716. Well, in order to find that out, I'm going to divide 2,716 by 28. That'll let me know the quotient between those two. So by doing so, I'm going to do 2716. And I'm going to divide that by 28, and that equals 97. So in this case, 97. So I had to multiply by 97. What I did is I divided the big number here, 2716, by 28, and it gave me 97. So I know I need to multiply this by 97 as well, and therefore 1 times 97 is 97. So she can invite 97 guests. And no, still not my last one. Ooh, lemonade stand. Like lemonade stand questions. JC earned a total of $4.72, so $4.72 by selling 4 cups of lemonade for 4 cups. Let's get a unit rate. So that's going to be for 1 cup. It's going to be $1.72 divided by 4, 20, back off 2 more, 18, $1.18, I'll bet you. 1.18. Let's go ahead and check that out. So $4.72 divided by 4 is indeed $1.18. So we're going to take that unit rate of $1.18 for 1 cup of lemonade. Well, I wish lemonade sold for that whenever I was a kid. I would have made a little more money. So now the question is, how much is it for 5 cups? Well, 1 times what is 5 times 5, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Dollars goes up here. So let's go ahead and multiply this by 5 as well. And that should be, I think, $5.90. Let me check it out. I got 118 in there. Let's multiply that times 5. Yep, $5.90. Mr. T, he's like a human calculator. So $5.90 for 5 cups. And that's what he sold for 5 cups. So $5.90. All right. This is still not the last one. Video 16 minutes long. I think I would have done fewer of these. So she prepared 48.86 in kilograms. We use K for kilograms to work 7 hours over 7 hours time. So what is this for just 1 hour? And we're missing kilograms. So let's go ahead and do that. 48.86. 48.86. So, see, I don't want mental math anymore, right? $6.98. I'm sorry, 6.98. 6.98 kilograms. So we're going to use that 6.98 kilograms, and we're going to use that unit rate for 1 hour. And now we're going to set up a proportion with kilograms in the numerator and hours in the denominator. How many hours? How many hours? That's the question. That's the missing number. She worked as she prepared 69.8. Wait a second. Wow. 69 or 69. Oh, it's going to be 10. It's a multiple of 10. That's what it is. That's why the decimal, same numbers, decimals in a different place. 69.8. So this number to that number, well, I can see that if I move the decimal over 1 place, then it would be the same 69.8, right? So I know that I'm multiplying times 10. So I'm going to do the same here to the denominator, times 10, and therefore x is going to equal 10. So it's going to be 10 hours. All right, this is the last question finally. The corporate team building event will cost $31.50. $31.50 for how much? 21 attendees. 21 attendees. So there's my rate. Let's get a unit rate for just 1 attendee. And dollars is my denominator, or my numerator. Let's go ahead and divide that. 31.5 and divide that by 21. That's going to give me 1.5, so it's $1.50. Now the thing about IXL, they give you a money question, and even though 1.5 is the same as 1.50, if it is a money question, if the answer is dollars, be sure to put that other 0 on the end of there, otherwise they'll count it wrong. $sign 1.5 on IXL is different than $sign 1.50. All right, so I got a unit rate of $1.50. This ought to give me some easy math, hopefully, for 1 attendee. And what's the rest of the question? If the budget for the corporate team building event is $91.50, so dollars goes up top, $91.50. I'm probably going to use my calculator on this one. How many attendees can attend? So in this case, some number times $1.50 equals $91.50. So let's divide that 91.50. And on the calculator, I don't have to push the 0. Let's divide that by 1.5. And that's going to give me 61. So the quotient of 91.5 divided by 1.5 is 61. So we're going to go ahead and realize that we have to multiply times 61 to get there. So let's do the same here. Times 61. And 1 times 61 is indeed 61. So the answer is 61 attendees. All right. So those are all of my examples for IXL Activity A1.C.3 titled Unit Rates. Good luck with your activity.